Hey everybody, I'm back. We're talking about course reports inside of Blackboard to get some evaluations from your students. And we're inside of evaluation and we're clicking on course reports, and we actually went over the first three, and now we're going to talk about the last few. So, overall summary of user activity. What this is going to do is it's going to give you just activity reports for days, times of the week, things like that. So I'm going to run this one and we'll show you what this report is going to give. So once we get into the options, really very similar to what we've seen before. Select the format, select the date, and actually below this is going to also say select a student. So you can select them all or just select individual students. Now let's see what that actual report is going to give us. Alright, so here's the report. What this is showing is the tools inside of Blackboard and what percentage of them were actually used within the course. So I can see this pie chart on the right hand side that a good majority of my, in fact 84.5% were content items inside of the Blackboard self-paced class, which makes sense. That was the majority of what we were using. So we have a little bit more of discussion boards, emails, grade centers, things like that, and there's a breakdown of everything. So you can see how many actual hits that I've used that were inside of the course. Now, what this is going to do is this is the overall summary of each user. So normally you would have all the students' names over here, and I can see then inside which items inside everyone was clicking on. So I can scroll down, and then you can see that there's even a breakdown. So this shows you the breakdown of clicking on different items inside of your Blackboard course. Now what this report will also give you is a breakdown of the overall access per the hours of the day. So I can see here that the majority of the people who are going into self-paced Blackboard were basically doing it between 8 and 4 o'clock. So during the work day in between there, not many people were going home and working on it. So I can see that I can see the percentage of when everyone was working on there and exactly how many hits in between that time. This also has a breakdown between days of the week, so I can see the percentage of overall user activity for everything inside of the course. So before we were looking at, they were giving us breakdowns for just the content. This is for overall summary of everything, discussion boards, blogs, and all of that stuff inside the course. So really, that's this report. That's the fourth one. That is for user activity times and things like that inside of the course. Alright, so let's go on to the next one. So I can cancel out of there. So this next one, student overview for a single course. This is when you want to take an individual student and really get hard numbers on everything that they were doing inside of the course. So I'm going to go and hit run. So this is going to give me some options for that individual student. So basically it says select the student, and I'm going to blur out that student's name, and then again just give me the start dates and the end dates for what you want to know. So you'll pick only one student out of this, and then you'll run the report for them. So let's see what that would look like. Okay, so here's the student overview for that one single student. So their name and ID would be up here at the top, and then I can see my date range. And I can look down here that the student activity by day. So I can see that this student spent 10.5 hours inside of the course, most of it on Friday. They must have had Friday off. And then the breakdowns for the other days of the week. So then I can see that the total items that they clicked on, the times that they logged in, 84 times. The last login was a while ago, so they must have finished the course early. And then the average time per user. So 3 hours and 82 minutes is about the average time that they spent logged into the course. So we get some even further breakdowns as we go farther down. This gives overview for single items inside the course and how many times the student accessed them, and then also the dates in which they accessed them. So this has, archiving your courses. They didn't spend any time in that one, but they accessed it a few times. The Blackboard without training wheels, they spent half an hour in that and accessed it 18 times. So you can see how this is a breakdown of everything within your course and how many times the student accessed that and how long they spent in each part. So I can see that this rubrics and Blackboard and the My Badges content folder were something that they spent a long time in, and the leaderboards and everything. So this can give you a good outlook on one single person and what they were doing inside of your course in Blackboard. All right, let's move on. We're going to see the last one that I have something for, which is user activity in forums. So what this is going to do is this is going to be basically just for the discussion board and what everyone's activity inside of that is. So I'm going to click run. And again, this is going to give you select a format and select the date range. So let's see what happens when we get that one up. All right, here it is. So this was our Blackboard forums. They weren't very active this time. We're really going to try to boost that up next time. But you can see that the majority of them submit an issue had a couple, and then you can just see like when people were posting into it, the amount of hits that it got on certain days from everyone. And then if I were to scroll farther down, it would show individual students and when they got into the discussion boards. Now, there is a different one for discussion boards that we're going to talk about in performance reports, and that will break it down and let you actually see which discussion posts they put in and how long they spent in. This is more like hits into the discussion board, so that's what that report will give you. And then the final report inside of this this activity is this very bottom one is user activity in groups. And we didn't actually separate our students into groups for this, so I don't actually have a report to run, but a lot of this would give you the same sort of information. So it's a summary of user activity in groups for the course. So it breaks down which groups were doing what and the time that they spent inside of there, which can be nice if you're grading for a group and you can see how long each group spent in the individuals inside of there. Alright, so that's everything for the course reports. The next video we're going to talk about is the performance dashboard, which is going to give you a whole different slew of details and information about your students and their usage inside of the course.